I never date a guy IRL, but I have beat my shit to femboy porn. Am I gay? Do you like the femboy because they look like a girl, or do you like the femboy because they have a dick? That's the question you have to answer. If you like him because of the dick, then you might be gay, or bi, right? And if you like him because they look like a girl, then maybe you just, you know, maybe you're just, you know, maybe you're just straight, but you know, you just happen to see a cute femboy, right? There you go. That's what I mean, listen, because, you know, let's be real, chat. I'm sure there are some very, very cute femboys out there, right? And you could probably mistake them for a girl 100%. And is that your fault? No, right? They're just really pretty, right? And that's fine. And then you're like, get to bed and you're like, wait, you have a dick? Ah, right? That's how it usually goes. But like, that doesn't suddenly mean before you saw the dick, you were gay, right? Like the whole time you thought they were a girl. So it's like, you know, now from there, that's where you decide, are you bi, or, you know, like, what if you keep going? Then, you know, you might be bi. There's nothing wrong with that. That's fine. You know? How do you know that's specific? Well, chat, I have been around the block for a long time, right? I have perused the... Is that a fucking... What is that on my wall? Oh, it's a dot. I have perused the everlasting archives of humanity. And, you know, I can understand many viewpoints, even though I may not be at that viewpoint, right? Have I experienced it? No, I've never dated a femboy and got to bed with them and saw a dick. No. Unfortunately, I've never been with anyone before Lily to that in that way. So no, that's kind of impossible to have happened, but yeah. Unfortunately, missed out. Okay. But would you consider, if I was not in a relationship with Lily and that situation happened to me, I would not know until I'm in that situation. I feel like that's a very on the spot moment thing, right? Like, you don't know until it happens to you, you know? Like, here's the thing, right? I feel like in most things in our lives, we are so against something until we are put into the position where we have to pick or choose again whether we participate in it or not, right? Like, I could sit here and for years of my life, chat, I said whenever people got oysters that I ain't tasting that shit. That shit looks gross, slimy, ugly. And then Lily convinced me to try oysters one day. And now I'm addicted. I actually went to an all-you-can-eat, like, happy hour oyster bar once, and I ate 65 oysters in one sitting. I chugged that shit. That shit tastes so good, right? So you never know with things in life until you, right, are faced with the decision and you know, make it or not, right? Now, do I think you should, that comparing oysters to trying out dick is the same thing? Obviously not. There's a very different scale here, but, you know, who knows, right? Who really knows? I'm just saying, you know, don't judge until you're... Can you explain this? Why would you bit on femboy because they look like a girl? Just do it to a girl at this point. You clearly do it because they have a dick. No, because what if you don't know it's a femboy until you get to bed, right? That's my point.
You cook one meal and nobody calls you a chef, but you suck one dick, now all of a sudden a gay WTFF.
Okay, alright. Okay. That's not... maybe the femboy is cuter than other porn girls. Aren't you scared of getting vibriosis? What the heck is vibriosis? What is that? Vibrio is a genus of gram-negative bacteria possessing a curved rod shape, several species of which can cause foodborne infection or soft tissue infection called... Wait, is fibrosis a big thing in oysters? Isn't it just like if you go to like a bad place that doesn't like get well-sourced oysters or like, you know, fresh oysters? Yeah, nah, generally I go to places that are pretty reputable and are like well-known to like have good oysters, so. Am I eating live oysters? No, what? Not eating, no, what? No? Who the fuck eats live oysters? I guess people who go hunt oysters maybe, but like, I don't eat live oysters, what? But I'm talking about people who search specifically for femboys. I think, let me say it like this, right? Because it's like I think just because you search specifically
You build
for
1,000
femboys
bridges and suck
doesn't
one dick.
suddenly make
My
you
brother,
gay,
you aren't a
right?
bridge builder.
It could make
You're
you
a dick
bi,
sucker classic.
right? But I don't think it makes you gay, right? And I don't even think it 100% makes you bi, because you might just be curious, you know? And it might just be a curiosity that extends only to the point of something you would delve only to a certain point in, right? Like, let's say the pool is 10 feet deep, but you're only willing to go about 4 or 5 feet, right? You're not willing to go all the way and actually do it in real life because you're like, oh, that's like, I don't know, right? And that would mean, right, you might not even really be bi, but you might just be curious, right? So it's like, you know, it's just because it's different from the norm. There are roads one can never come back from. Nah, that's different, right? Like, sure, if you got analed by like a fucking 10 foot, like, and we're talking also like on top of that, like maybe a 6-7 inch like radius girth fucking cock, right? Then yes, your anus is never coming back. That shit gaping the rest of your life. But I think there's other I think the things we're talking about for like searching porn, that, bro, there's things you could come back from. That's not an issue, you know? How you know that? Well, I don't know that, but I'm just assuming. Like, you guys ever have a really big shit, right? You guys ever have a really big shit? And that shit was a log. And you got off the toilet and you feel like you can't walk normally. And it's like, oh, right? And you're like, you sit down and that's probably, imagine that, but like for an extended duration, right? And just like, you know, I'm sure there's no coming back from that. I'm sure that shit gaping for an extended period, right? For sure, right? Have you ever bleed from shitting so hard? No. No. I have seen like what looks like could be blood in my stool in the past, like a long time ago. But that was because like I legitimately had like food poisoning. But that's like only time I've ever seen
Why
that.
do you keep talking about this shit relaces?
Huh? You gotta
Oh
eat
boy,
more
I can't
fiber,
wait
bro?
to see
This
what
is
my
a long
favorite
time ago.
streamer,
This is a
Fabian Forther, is talking
long
about
time
today.
ago.
Oh my god, what the hell is going on, IU?
I can get behind Fuda since they are girls, but I never understood femboys. Here's my, and this is gonna sound like insane cope but I've actually had this discussion with a friend before, because they basically also, like myself, we were like, oh my god, Fudas are awesome, right? And then bro really started delving into femboy cosplayers and femboys IRL, and he was like, bro, am I gay? I'm like, you know what? I don't think so. And here was my logic to him, okay? Here's my logic to him. My
What
logic
is
was,
this topic? We all know you are bi.
Oh my god, what the fuck is wrong with you with these Degen talks, Fob? Can we go back to Dino game?
no, because maybe some people are interested in these topics, right? So my logic to him was essentially this, right? I don't think going from Fuda and then to looking up like real femboys is like, it makes you gay or bi. Right? Here's my reasoning as to this, right? Because futanari don't exist in real life, right? The only way you can really consume futanari content is hentai and like fictional, like it's just like hentai essentially, right? I mean, sure, there's like things out there where girls put on fucking prosthetic. That shit looks stupid as shit, okay? That shit looks dumb, right? And so, as someone who maybe enjoys futanari content, but wants to consume it in like real people, because like, let's be honest, chat, not everybody only wants to watch anime porn. Some people like, you know, real people as well. I know 3D, ew, oh my god, real people, live action, ugh. Okay, but like a lot of people do, right, like both. So like, if the argument is you want to consume content like Fuda, but it doesn't exist in real life, what's the best next right thing you could go for? It's femboy, right? So like, does that suddenly make you, no, I think you're fine. It's just that you just want to consume something that is like it, is the closest counterpart to real life, but you know, it's obviously not, because Fuda aren't real, they're fictional. It's a fictional entity. But yeah, answer is yes. Well, the thing I told him was, the worst it does is make you bi. And I don't think that's bad. I don't think being bi or gay is bad, all right? Like, obviously, chat, this wasn't an era right? This wasn't an era, I will say, long time ago, right? In an era where still people were like, oh, you know, gay? What the heck is bi? Like, you know, it was still back then, right? So he was like, bro, am I gay? Like, so he was a little standoffish about it, but I was like, you know, you might be bi. I don't know. Still is? I don't think so. I think, you know, you want to know why I disagree with you when you say it's still kind of weird to be like gay or bi? I don't think so at all. And the reasoning for that is just look at porn sites. I think back when I was a youngin',
Gooners are so weak. They're so busy thinking about whether or not gooning to something makes them gayga, and it prevents them from appreciating a good-looking individual. Who cares? Just goon.
too much yapping. I just like dicks. That's why I fuck with femboys. I mean, sure, right? There's a lot of people who can openly admit that, but there, you know, there's some people who aren't full. Like I said, with the pool analogy, right? There's people that are willing to go 4 or 5 feet, but aren't willing to go full 10 feet. If you're someone willing to go full 10 feet, you know, that you are in pound for pound, want the dick, want the fucking, you know, cute wigs, all that, right? That, go for it, you know, that's it. That's you own it. But there's people who only want to go 4 or 5 feet, and you know, at that point I'm like, okay, you know, you're like bi, maybe you're curious, stuff like that, you know. I don't think it's entirely. And also, back to the point I was making, right? I actually believe it's so much more normalized now, maybe not in public, but definitely on porn sites. Back when I used to browse porn sites, back in my day, the good old days, back when porn sites were still fucking goofy as fuck, and basically half of them would give you viruses. Well, no, not half. 90% of them would give you viruses. But back in those days, all right, well, still some of them I probably do still give viruses, but back in those days where pretty much all of them gave you viruses, bro, anything with Fuda, like stuff like that, so rare as shit. Nowadays, bro, it's plastered everywhere. It's all over the place. Femboy, Fuda, fucking all over the place. So like, if anything, I think it's much more, like, at least recognized. If not, like, you know, obviously it's not a norm still, but, like, still. It's gone to shit. What do you mean it's gone to shit, bro? Huh? Couldn't that just be degenerates getting more degenerate? It could be that, right? Because we have talked about the subject before where essentially people normalize a certain fetish to a certain point because it becomes so watered down. So essentially what used to be considered vanilla 20 years ago, like, is probably like, no, sorry, what used to be considered like extremely kinky, crazy shit 20 years ago, nowadays is probably considered vanilla. And I'll bet you 20 years from now, what we considered crazy, kinky shit is probably going to be vanilla 20 years later as well, right? So there is that possibility as well. That's a little hard to substantiate. We don't fully know because I don't have porn statistics. I'm sure some site has a porn statistic on that somewhere. I think I'm okay with Fudas because they are not real. It's not because I don't want to go deeper with femboys. I mean, sure, right? That's a good reasoning for a lot of people. Bro, I'm a femboy, and the amount of straight dudes who have hit on me is borderline ridiculous. It's the ass and thighs. I'm convinced it's all the ass guys. No, it's just like I said, right? Like there's probably a lot of cute femboys out there that people can mistake as girls, right? Like there's nothing wrong with that, you know? The fuck is going on? Move the fuck on already, bro. Holy shit. In 20 years, we will all have our own AI waifu sex bot and porn won't exist. That's just not
Every
true.
time I have
You're
a hankering
crazy.
to watch a
That's
femboy who
not
gets
true.
destroyed in the behind by gotcha every day gaping. I search up Fobmaster on Twitch and watch him say the F word at least 5
Nope.
times a minute and saying
I got
"Frick me
into
in the
a
back"
fight at the
every
bar for
stream.
just having
Truly
long hair as a dude. People
experienced
are still
gooning.
dipshits. It is very normalized on the internet, though. It might be like your. I think it obviously definitely depends on the culture, right? Definitely depends on culture. I still believe in East Asia, if you are openly gay, trans, anything like that. At least in Korea, like it's still very like frowned upon. Like I still see people just give people looks nonstop and like, you know, are rude to them. So definitely it depends on the place you are, right? Like certain, like, legitimately, like, best examples, certain places in America, you could be whatever, and nobody would bat an eye. And certain places in America, you could be whatever, and there'll be a hate mob out in the street next day after they saw you. So, you know, it literally is, like, depends where you are, right? It's also a generational thing. Many older people would find it weird. New gen is more accepting. That's not always true. I think that's also a location thing. I think certain locations, new gens are actually just as spiteful as older gens. Look up Milk Ray Astolfo cosplay best femboy goat. Nah, I think I'm good. I have a beautiful girlfriend. How about you look it up, Meat Sauce, and keep it to yourself.